Hello and welcome to the About to Interview podcast. I'm your host, that guy named John. This is a supplemental version of the About to Review podcast, which drops every Wednesday and covers movies, TV shows, film festivals, and more. You can follow the podcast on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at About to Review, and make sure to subscribe on iTunes/Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Blueberry, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. This show focuses solely on the conversations that I have with authors, directors, actors, and creators, and is available on YouTube as well as subscribing to the podcast. Make sure to click the subscribe button below, give a thumbs up, and check out the full show notes with links to the guests at abouttoreview.com.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Yeah! Let's all go to the lobby. Yeah! Let's all go to the lobby. Yeah! Let's all go to the lobby. Yeah! Let's all go to the lobby.
Hey folks, this is that guy named John again. Just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that the interviews you are about to hear that were done on location at the Vancouver Web Fest 2018 were done by a person who was kind of sick and losing his voice. Spoiler alert, that person is me, and I am him. And I'm still kind of losing my voice and still kind of sick. So if you hear some weird edit breaks in the middle of the interviews, it is because I was probably like coughing up a lung or something. So I apologize for that. Just want to give that quick disclaimer before you listen to the interviews that I did during Vancouver Web Fest 2018. I apologize, but here we go straight into the interviews. Enjoy. Ben Strang is the writer and director and producer and man of 1,000 hats for the short that we watched called Beast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Beast was something that you initially kind of had one plan with, and then as you talked about in the Q&A last night, it now is going in a completely different direction than what you originally had planned. Talk a little bit about that and that kind of process and how it changes.
It was originally set out as a digital series, which is what we've released it and premiered it as. It's a pilot. Beast is a 17-minute pilot for a digital series, and we premiered it a month ago at South by Southwest.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. In the independent episodic program. Since then, instead of developing it as a 17-minute episode digital series, we have, I guess you could say, retargeted it as a 1-hour show.
Okay.
And so we're taking it out as a 1-hour show. Same concept, elaborated, obviously, in a number of ways to go into that format. To sit on a network like HBO or Netflix or something in that camp.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So when we were watching it last night, and we were honored to watch it, considering it was only the second time it has been shown at a festival. So it tells the story of this young man in search of kind of multiple things. In search of a father that he lost, and also in search of a creature that he believes is out there. So what were the baseline inspirations for this story?
That's a great question. The searching element of it is something that is thematically interesting to me. I think that when people have something in their life that is an unknown or missing, they find themselves on searching quests. They find themselves looking for something that's maybe more tangible. They can sink their teeth into, and maybe that's a pursuit that is a learning experience or an actual journey to go somewhere and do something. But in some way, and I've experienced this many times with relationships and with like artistic endeavors and things like this, but in some way, the tangible pursuit of that thing helps unfold the real search that's inside the personal thing that is going on. So in Beast, thematically, while it's about a kid whose dad has gone missing at sea, been lost at sea, without a trace, he believes that there is a sea creature that was responsible for this disappearance,
Right.
and he's taken it upon himself to prove that to be the case and see if there is any evidence or any way of finding his father. So in the quest to find his dad, he has to go into this other world and figure out what the truth about this sea creature and this bizarre island where his dad disappeared from is. And so thematically, I'm kind of trying to work into that idea and that life experience of what do you do when there's a big gaping hole in your life, and
Yeah.
what types of tangible things do you take on to understand that for yourself.
Excellent. And then with those kind of big things that we are searching for, whether it is personal, professional, one way that this kind of resonated is the atmosphere that you created. So where this takes place, in this tiny little town in Maryland, is something that is deeply personal to you because of your connection to that area. How did that area affect kind of the original vision and then kind of what it has become?
Yeah. So Beast was filmed in a location in Maryland on the eastern shore of Maryland. One of the marshland islands that make up the bay side of the eastern shore, kind of like this area in
Right.
Vancouver. This isn't a bay exactly, but
Ben is pointing to the large body of water that we are sitting next to for those listening at home.
sitting 40 feet above.
It
looking
is
out a
kind of
window.
harrowing because we are sitting like, if I could not see some rocks right there, it feels like we are on top of the water.
If there wasn't a window here, we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was filmed on this island called Smith Island, which is from where I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland. Smith Island is about a 2.5-hour drive to the ferry port and then an hour boat ride out to the island. So you kind of go up from the mainland of Maryland over to the eastern shore, onto the boat, and then out into the middle of the bay. It's 12 miles offshore.
So right next to the middle of nowhere, it sounds like.
When you're there, yeah, it's isolated. The location there is an exaggerated location of a ecosystem of the world that is close to home for me, which is the marshland, bay grass environments of the Chesapeake Bay, which is really unique to estuaries on the East Coast. You see it there, and you see it a little bit in the Carolinas, and then you see it down in Mississippi on the Delta and places like that, Louisiana, stuff like that. And I spent a lot of time around those kind of disappearing marshland environments growing up. The whole entire bay is surrounded by research and save the bay type programs,
conservation efforts.
in any number of ways, from wildlife to oysters to plant life that's having a very specific effect on the oxygenation of the bay and the nitrogen levels in the bay. So anyways, that's all getting away from the point that those environments were really personal to me growing up, and now being not a 10-year-old anymore or 15-year-old like the kid in the movie, it has a soft spot for me. So finding Smith Island a couple years ago, when I went there for the first time and I saw this island that's like just that. I mean, there's 200 people that live there. It's a very small community. There's not a doctor or hospital on the island. There's like one or two places to eat.
They have to go to the quote-unquote big city for that, which is an hour boat ride.
Yeah, but it's not a big city. It's Crisfield, Maryland.
So instead of the 200 population of Smith Island, you have a bustling metropolis of a couple thousand?
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. It's like the size of a local park.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very bizarre, unique, special place, and you go there. It's a 400-year-old island. It was settled by John Smith. Not 400 years old. It's probably closer to 300. It was settled by John Smith, hence Smith Island, many years ago. And so when you're in a place like that, you can feel the history there.
Yeah.
You can feel the family legacy there. It's just a lot of feelings. So that's good for, I guess, filmmaking.
Very cool. And then to kind of wrap it up,
Yeah.
so from here, what is the next step for Beast? Is it going to be making a larger festival circuit? Are you guys going to dive right into production? What is next?
This this digital pilot will do some more festivals this year and tour around and see some different theaters. And the next step for the concept and for the property is to develop it into a longer form project. Probably that will materialize as a 1-hour TV show, something in that, in that camp. It's kind of unclear at this point exactly what the finished, produced project will be and what platform it will live on, but it will ultimately just have to be whatever is right for it, because it's a pretty specific, unique story. And so I'd like to find a group of people and a place that understands it and is interested in the same things that I am.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then where can people follow you on social media, the film? What is the best place?
Instagram is cool. I'm Ben H as in Hector. Ben H Strang is my Instagram, and then the film is Beast the Series.
Beast the Series
on Instagram. Yeah.
Fantastic. All those links will be in the show notes below. Thanks for sitting down with me, Ben.
Totally. Thank you.
Post-award show, sitting down with Brynn and Brianna from Girls vs. the City. Since it is post-awards, you are only 16 shy of what I thought you would get. But you did end up getting an award. Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you so
Very
much.
So with Girls vs. the City, hilarious web series.
Thank you.
With what we got to see, the trials and tribulations of dating.
Yes.
So how much of this was based on reality?
I would say a good 80 to 90%.
Yes, if not our own lives, then people in our lives, taking stories, ridiculous stories of theirs, and turning it into hilarious content.
Yeah.
And when you guys were first talking about the series at the Q&A, there's disagreement of how much was improv on set. Has there been a resolution to how much was actually improv?
I did think about that. Well,
me too.
The thing is, because the entire thing is scripted.
Yes.
The entire series is always scripted. On the day, we stick fairly close to the script, probably 70, 80.
Yeah.
And then we just always do a take of just whatever we want.
Yeah,
kind of.
just run wild. The crazier, the better.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes that stuff makes it, and sometimes it
it's
really
worse.
doesn't work. And sometimes we're like, oh, our script was better.
It was better, yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends on the actor, too. I would
Yes.
say, people like Amy Goodmurphy, Aaron Reed, some improvise a lot more than others because they think that they are funnier than what we wrote, and they genuinely are.
And they are.
So,
Yeah.
So
So-
a win-win.
Win-win.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who was the guy at the dumpster with the
That's
guitar?
Aaron Reed.
Aaron Reed, yes. He's a Vancouver
He's
comedian.
one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
He does a live show, and he does lots of live shows for many years, and every show I've ever seen him in for a decade, I laugh, cry, and it's to the point where you're embarrassed that you're laughing that hard every time.
He's just brilliant. He's genius, and he's otherworldly funny.
Yes.
But he's part of a group called the Sunday Service, and they're a multiple-time Canadian Comedy Award-winning improv group. Very funny guys.
Because that was
And
something
girls.
where, like you guys said, you can just kind of let him go.
Oh yeah.
And just do his thing, and you guys then have to either fall back on the script or just roll with it.
No, we don't even write him stuff
No.
in the
Oh, really?
script. No, we don't. He appears in season 2. We wrote him some more in season 2. Season 1, it's just this is the scenario, and we'll just improvise it with him. So that's
And
what
when we
did.
say improvise, it's just him
Him.
talking and then us laughing at
Yes,
him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Turn camera on, press record, go.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. And so you guys have your first season all on YouTube,
Yes.
Yes.
and you are currently in production or still working on season 2?
We're in post-production for
Post-production,
season
okay.
2, yeah. We're just getting our fine cuts ready, and it's going to be ready to be out in the world in June, we hope. That's the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be up on TELUS Optic as well as our YouTube channel. So
Okay.
yeah.
Fantastic. So that is in June. After that, have you guys started to think ahead?
Oh, we sure have.
Absolutely, yes. We want to do a season 3. Definitely a plan. And
We're really looking at what it's going to take to pitch to TV as well.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a huge interest of ours. We'd love to to make, obviously, this show into a TV series, I think, has always been the dream. So.
There's just so much content that we have in our brains that we know can all work, and the beauty of this show is each episode really is self-contained and can work, and we can expand on it and we can cut it down, so there's just so much room, so we'd love to develop it for television.
Nice. And then talk a little bit about the collaboration, because watching this, with how organic the two of you interact with each other, and that kind of comedy that just comes from being friends, when did you guys first start working together?
We went to acting school together. We've known each other about 11 years now, I think, and became fast best friends in school. People kind of said, you know, you got something. And so we started doing a YouTube channel.
Just been us.
It was our moms. We started doing
was one of you.
It was,
We've
got it to the other.
we started doing a YouTube channel, just kind of like talk to camera, jump cuts. We did it ourselves. It was very
like 7 years ago.
Basic, and just kind of people thought it was funny, and we always thought, oh, it'd be fun to do narrative. And finally, this Tell a Story Hive opportunity came up, and we thought, let's just put something together, and this show happened.
Yeah. And I just genuinely really love each other as humans, so I think
I don't know how this happened. How did this happen?
I don't know.
It's like we don't see each other for months, and then, you know, with your friends, it's like you just jump back in.
I think we have a very similar like sense of humor.
Exactly.
So I think that's and then the friendship just allows us to work very well off of each other.
Yeah.
We pretty much know what the other's thinking and saying all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and that type of, like I said, genuine, organic chemistry absolutely comes through.
Thank you.
Thanks.
When I was looking you guys up online, my Google history I had to clear immediately.
Of course, yes.
So tell people where they can find you online.
Absolutely. So it's girl on girl humor. That's the key word you want to add in at the end.
Or
Right.
not, really. It depends what you're up for.
Actually. We have an
If you're
afternoon
looking
of
up
it,
at work listening to this, like I have a lot of my listeners listen to it at work.
Right. Yeah.
Just wait until you get home.
It's also safe to Google girls versus the city.
Yeah, that's probably
There you
But
go.
our YouTube channel is Girl on Girl Humor.
And humor spelled the American way.
Yes. And that's
you
our
mean the
Facebook and
correct
everything.
way?
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. You know what? Why did we make that choice? That was a long time ago.
Because
you guys did win the best of BC.
Ugh, awkward.
mean-
a long time ago, we knew we were better than BC, and we wanted to
Oh, boy.
win to America.
Where are we?
Where do we live?
I don't know who I am.
Nobody knows. BC is the best place in the world, but I think we just thought many, many moons ago that it was smart to do the American spelling for people searching.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it is smart.
yeah.
I stand by it.
We stand by it.
I like it. And then individually, if people want to follow you guys on social media,
Oh, yes. I have Instagram. I don't use it that much. It's Bean, like Bean, Wiens, Wiens.
you really like to just confuse people's browsers.
I don't know. That's what my family calls me. That's my family nickname is Bean.
Yeah.
That's my Instagram. That's probably the only thing that I have. So there you go.
Facebook. But yeah.
Well, that's ours together.
But yes. But
Yeah.
you as a human on your own.
I don't want to get a bunch of friends that I don't know. Let's be real here.
Yeah, and my Instagram is just Brynn Peebles. So
It's much easier.
Real simple, to the point.
yeah. But I would say
Girl on Girl
Girl is
humor
much more interesting.
on Instagram.
on Instagram.
Yeah, we
I think
actually
the last thing
posted
I
that.
posted was a photo of a flower or something. So.
Right.
From 3 years ago.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sitting down with me. We've
Thank
been
you
trying to catch
much.
up all weekend. It has been
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Congratulations on the best of
Thank
BC.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So I've been sitting down with Brynn and Brianna from Girls vs. the City.
Thank you.
So much.
Back again for the third year in a row,
The third year, yeah.
Christina De Leon from Nasty Habits.
Thank you.
So this is your third year coming back to Vancouver Web Fest. What about this fest is so special?
This was the first festival ever that I had been to. And so I think, of course, there's going to be some sort of like nostalgic sentimentality there. But it's just, in my opinion, it's the best one that I've been to. They take it so seriously. The programming is always so excellent. This year especially. And they mean business. Like, they were the first. They were one of the only web series festivals to have panels in that first year that I was doing festivals.
Right.
And then now everyone else has panels, probably because they did it first. I noticed that like they're striving to make it a marketplace as much as just a screening, you know. So I thought that was really cool, and they operate at such a higher level, and they always have.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On winning Best Drama.
Yes, thank you.
And last year, from what I remember, you won, was it 1 or 2 awards last year also?
We won Best Drama last year as well, and we were nominated for, my actress was nominated for Best Actress again, yeah, so it's been good.
So this is now Nasty Habits Season 2.
Yes.
Is Season 2 wrapped, done?
Wrapped and done, yeah. We launched in September and rolled out over the course of 8 weeks for our 8 episodes. And yeah, we've just been like, last year was Season 2 as well. We premiered the season, or the world premiere of Season 2 was here last year in March,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're back with a different episode of Season 2. And yeah, that's, it's all done.
Now, one thing I've noticed so far between the 2 years is the similarity in that you really focus on relationships and intimacy in those relationships. Seeing that on screen was great, and then last year you were saying that you brought your girlfriend to the screening. This year you brought your parents to the screening.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how that intimacy and relationships, how those in the real world affect your work and how they drive it forward.
On like a very basic level, like that's kind of how I started. I mean, writing is observing, so that's really how I started to realize that I had the writer thing in me, is in those relationships, those very close relationships. It's so like messed up, but like if I would get into a fight, I'd be like, this is a scene.
Wow.
I'd be that observant and that kind of out of it. I was also in acting school at the time, so everything was like, this is your objective, this is my objective, and I would be, you know, there was that disconnect. I hope that doesn't make me sound like a sociopath.
No, not at all. Of course not. No.
But yeah, it's, I mean, for me, writing and filmmaking is just about telling the truth and being honest and portraying relationships. Like the goal for me is to have people say like that. You took the words out of my mouth. Like I've said that before. I've been that person before. I know exactly how that person feels. That moment is kind of the goal for me. It's almost like paying homage to certain moments that shaped me and you know, people who I'm in that relationship with and shaped our you know, either a familial relationship or a romantic relationship. So that's it's all kind of the same for me. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that was noticed also this year that one of the presenters said is how many women in film we're seeing.
Yeah.
And this amazing amount, not just with, you know, big screen things, but with web series and everything else. Who are some of the women in this industry that you look up to, and also who are some people that you want to work with?
Oh yeah, let's get into that. Lately, Gloria Calderon-Kellett, who is one of the showrunners on One Day at a Time.
Okay.
I just saw her speak at ClexaCon last weekend in Las Vegas, and One Day at a Time is not really my type of show. I don't usually like multicam, but what she and Mike Royce have done with it is make something so smart and progressive, and I love smart comedy like that where no one has to be insulted, you know? And like that's such a like a snowflake thing to say, but I, as a, you know, multiracial, bisexual woman, have spent too much time watching sitcoms where like I am the butt of a joke, and you know, we all loved Friends, but watching it back sometimes can be really disappointing because it's like kind of homophobic sometimes. So
that and how you can live in New York, and you get one black cast member 6 seasons in.
It's insane. It's really insane. You know, just what they've done on that show has really moved me and made me excited about the genre again. Besides her, Jill Soloway, who I believe identifies now as gender non-binary, Lena Dunham, although she's problematic, but I can't help. Like, she is the first season of Girls. When that started, there was, before the first season actually, there was like a featurette that introduced her and introduced the show and introduced like where she came from, and I remember I posted that clip on my best friend's wall and said, like, if she could do it, we can do it, because we were about the same age. She was a little bit older than me, and that was before we did anything. That was before I made anything, and I honestly kept going because she did it, you know. So certainly her. I feel like there are so many other ladies that I'm leaving out. Ava DuVernay, I mean, come on. Lynn Shelton, who directed Your Sister's Sister, she's Seattle. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of ladies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what do you want people to feel when they watch your show?
I touched on this before, but really, I want people to feel like less alone. I want to explore the specific and underrepresented relationships and experiences, and I hope I do justice to that, and I can only speak on what I have knowledge on and experience with, but specifically, like, you know, for LGBT youths, I want those kids to feel like it's going to be okay.
Right.
And like it's not just, you know, it's not just dead lesbians all the time on TV. It's not just like, you know, a tragic story where one person is crazy or one person dies at the end. I want to instill hope. And yeah, I want people to feel like they can see themselves, and they can see themselves in positions of power and in, you know, with happy endings. To sort of tie that into, you know, One Day at a Time, I have never seen myself on a sitcom like that before. Seen myself like represented.
Right.
Something like The Fosters, like seeing a married couple who is two women, and they are not a joke. And they're not just meant to be sexy. They are just two moms to several kids. That was, I've never seen anything like that before. And that was the first time I really started to, you know, accept that I could be a mom. I mean, that's so weird, but like, you do have to see it to believe it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I hope to do for people with nasty habits.
Fantastic. And then where can people get the most up-to-date information? Where can they watch the show? And your social media handles. Yeah,
so they can watch the show at nastyhabitstv.com. You can find both seasons 1 and 2 there. On Instagram and Twitter, we are Nasty Habits TV. I personally, on Instagram, am Christina Filters Things. And on Twitter, I am at Shut Up Christina. And I try to post.
Very unique posts. Or very unique handles.
Yeah, thank you. I won't change them because they amuse me. Yeah, I think probably the Nasty Habits handle is the one to follow if you want those updates. I try to post. I'll try to post more.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Christina De Leon of Nasty Habits.
Thank you.
Sitting with the woman without whom none of this would be possible, Suzette Laqua. Welcome back to the show.
I know. Thank you. Thanks for having me. You're the best. I'm just saying that.
I mean, you say that, but last year we talked about an award for best podcast coverage.
Okay, that's not my fault.
Okay.
Because apparently, every time I asked somebody, they weren't sure how to judge it.
Easy. Only one person in the category. Me.
Oh, shit,
I win.
yeah. Well, I already knew that, and I told them that, and they were like, but we don't know how to judge it.
Vancouver Web Fest 2018.
I know, right?
5th year. We're in a brand new venue. Huge space.
How are those views?
It is incredible.
Right?
The view is incredible.
Because we can see the reflection of me in the window right now. That's the view.
Of course. This year there were over, 80 panels?
Well, there wasn't 80 panel. There was 80 panelists. So we had 80 speakers.
Sheesh.
80, because then there'd be like sometimes 2, 3, 4 on a panel. So that's where so not so many panels, but panelists, right? So we had, or speakers, or however you want to say it, because we had workshop speakers, panelists. So we had over 80 this year.
And as far as entries to the fest,
We had close to 300
300.
from 24 countries as far as South Africa. And we had Israel this year.
Right.
And we had
Mongolia.
Turkey, Mongolia, India. By the way, the reason I'm mentioning them is they're all new this year. They
Wow.
had never submitted before. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
We do get the United States, which is awesome because
Yes.
there are, neighborly cousins,
cousin,
something. The ugly cousin. Am I allowed to say that?
No.
Oh yeah, because you're from there. But the ugly stepsister. No, just kidding.
Fair enough.
No, I love you guys. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna stop there.
So what would you say this year, being in the new space with 3 different rooms with panels and screening rooms, outside of those things, what makes this year so much different?
Well, we also had VR. I mean, again,
Right.
like last year we introduced it just to kind of get a feel for it, and it was so well. I can't think of words. So
Received.
Thank you. That's the word. Oh my God. I'm just saying. You may be putting out those words for me, but it was so well received last year. I loved it, and I thought, you know what? Even though we're filmmakers, well, I say we loosely, you guys are filmmakers. It's not they're going to go to a VR conference, because what they do at a VR conference would be so intense, and they probably wouldn't need all the information and maybe the price you'd pay.
Right.
So we wanted to bring VR to them. So not only for the experience, because you actually got to experience it, the education, and there was panels, and there was a keynote speaker, and it was brilliant and very well received. Like the people were just, the panels were full, the keynote, everybody, because again, it's out of interest sometimes too. Like if you're not, you don't know much about it, go, and this is how you're going to learn. So let's see what else. So again, we also went from, 4 panels or keynotes, a combination. At the other venue, which was great. We had 3 years there. It was like you'd get a screening block, which is an hour and a half or so. Screening block, panel, screening block.
Yep. Just back
Keynote,
to back.
and that's all we could fit in there. Well, this year we had 3 rooms going nonstop. We had the screenings going. We actually brought them in free this year, so that just because we wanted to invite the world to come and see these, and also they were up against panels, so I felt like I was ripping off the creators. But I wanted to, and it's a funny thing. If you got to grow, you got to grow. But and then we had constant. The other 2 rooms were constant back-to-back panels, keynotes. But so we 2-3 tiered it this year, so that was also new. But it was, again, I'm happy to say that it was well received, because I think I was afraid that people would feel ripped off in the screenings, because everybody would be in the panels, but the screenings were pleasantly full.
Definitely.
And I'm happy. And I know it sounds weird, but because it is about the creators, and it's about having their work being seen. That's why we do the festival. But then we wanted to bring to them like speakers, so there's education and networking and understanding, and how they can do things and make their series better, and how they can become better creators, and that's what we want to do for them as well. So, and we only have 3 days to do it. I don't want to become like a South by Southwest. I'm good being 3 days, not 3 weeks, and
Right.
I don't think people want a 4th day. I sort of asked around, and I said, would you prefer a 4th day or to do what we did? And the census was, do what you do. Like, let's see how it worked. And the first year, I'm truly, I'm so happy that it worked out as well as it did. And it was, the feedback I've gotten was amazing. So,
Absolutely. I mean, because the diversity of programming that you had, the diversity of keynotes, and shout out the person who did most of the programming. So
Shiva, so they go through all that and then become official selections, and then she continues because she works with the judges. That's all programming. So the other programming, I'm thinking you meant of like
the panelists and
so that was Paula.
Right.
So I go around to the MIP TVs and the NatPs and the VidCons and I meet the people, and I meet people that help us meet people, and then I hook her up with them, and then she continues to find people through networking. And so if somebody I meet can't do it, they're really awesome, and they're like, I can't come up, but I'm going to find you someone else in LA that can. And like people were just astounded by the names that we got this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to list them because there was over 80 of them. I'm just saying, but feel free to go on our website. They're all there.
Yes.
Which is vancouverwebfest.com for those who don't know. But okay, enough of that plugging me. But no, so the programming. So yeah, so that Paula did that. Oh my God. And then she leaves me.
Right. That was definitely.
Who knew that I was going to get? Who knew that I was going to get a divorce, dude? Get over here. Was I not just saying like that I just lost my best friend? And that when she...
No, you lost your director of development. You still have your best friend.
Same diff. How many speakers did we have?
I don't know. Somebody said 70. I actually never counted them, but somebody told me it was 70
70 or...
speakers.
I thought someone told me
70-ish.
But anyways, there was a
Really?
lot. Yeah, 70
Yeah,
or
a
80.
lot.
We should count.
I have a list. I can look
Ton
at
of panelists, ton of keynote speakers, industry professionals from all over the world.
Yes. No, I was...
He's been reading our website.
I know, thank God. And you know, again, we just need Vancouver to show up now.
They didn't do too bad today.
They had a lot of... Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cough again.
And a lot of them came like one day. They just don't come for the whole thing. Because it's hard, because it's here.
Oh, well,
And,
right,
you know,
yeah. And they
it's
can go
easier
home.
to go to something out of town because your
That's what
kids
you're going
are
for.
away somewhere else. And
Yeah, it's true.
So one of the other things, so with the 3 days, like we were talking about, this takes months and months. Like basically, you give
The
yourself
whole
a
year. We don't stop.
You give yourself a few days after today,
Yeah.
and then it is right
Well,
back.
because first of
Usually.
all, it's not even that we're done now. Like now we got to wrap up. There's paperwork and there's. Oh, did I do something? Oh, I'll do that too.
And thank yous to be written, like, you know,
Yeah.
and we like to be pretty hands-on with that. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily, there's a lot of
and then
stuff to do.
and then our and which is fine. It's all part of the process. But and then in the meantime, we even started working on 2019 like a few weeks or a few months ago, because you
Wow.
start meeting, you start looking for like new ideas. Although you have to finish this year, but you want to think ahead. So, but it's a nonstop. I mean, you stop for a minute, it gets a little quieter, where you can take a breather for, I don't know, an hour or two on a Saturday, Sunday sometimes. Just saying. But you know what? We did it out of passion. I sucker punched her 2013, and you got in.
Something
October.
like that. Well, it was funny. I saw pictures the other day of it came up on my
Did
the
you save
anniversary
it?
thing. No, it was like the anniversary Facebook thing of us at LA Web Fest. It was
Oh,
like
my
Oh, nice.
God.
Mike Cavers. And
Oh, my God.
when we were, so-
When we were in that back row?
yes.
Oh, my God. Just
You
saying.
remember that picture?
Oh, because it was
'Cause
pretty
that was
painful.
oh my God.
It was painful. That's all we're going to say. You can
That
cut
was why
that
we
too.
were inspired to do this.
This is why we were inspired to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So from October 2013, the first ideas of this to now in its fifth year.
No, it was actually March of 2013.
Oh, it was March.
'Cause I can tell you why without mentioning any names. I'm at a festival. All these people get called up like over and over and over again, because you didn't win best of, you just won good for you,
That
right?
was a 4-hour award ceremony.
It
my
started.
gosh.
It went till quarter to 1 in the morning, and then here's the best part: I was comedy, and by the time the comedy ended, everybody had been called up minimum once, except for me. And then it turned out a few. You got called up. But
Not
they had
for
the wrong
comedy.
names.
Not for comedy. we
Oh,
didn't get
I
called
see.
up.
Okay, but point being, make a long story longer. They. A few other people that had only gotten the 2-week notice that they were in, they didn't also get called up. So it was like he ran out of paper or something, because he gave
Wow.
670 awards out.
Sheesh.
Or not even awards, pieces of paper. But fast forward, he was the one that inspired me to do it, because I was so disappointed, not from not getting an award, but the whole process, the whole festival. And I was like, I'm going to do one of these. We'd met, then we hooked up back in Vancouver after to do just hey, let's all the web series, Vancouver Web Series people get together, because we'd met so many people down there. So Paula and a couple other girls, were doing it. And then Paula asked if I wanted to be part of it. And I was like, yeah, and then I told her I was going to start this festival. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can give you some ideas, let's talk. And then I'd asked her to be part of it, and she said she couldn't. And a couple months later, she's like, you know what, let's do it. And, and then 5 years later.
Here we are.
5 years.
I know, right?
I'm just saying.
We went from the
feels like
downtown
10.
east side
to
Cole Harbor in 5 years.
Yeah. Dude, that's
pretty incredible.
impressive.
That's a little something.
And for those who don't know the downtown east side, well, let's just say look it up.
Right.
I'm just saying. But, it's been a journey. 5 years. It feels like 10. Oh, can we say that?
Yes.
All right. It feels like 5.
It does.
Actually, it feels like a blink, but sometimes it feels like, oh, my God, that was so long ago.
Right. For sure.
So now we don't know what we're doing because I'm by myself.
Not a guilt trip at all.
No.
No.
I'm alone.
I'm resistant to it now.
I'm alone.
Fair enough.
Well, I guilted her back in because she left last year. I didn't
you
really
got
guilt
sick.
her. Well, I did get sick.
Right.
But that's another story. We'll interview later about, But you know what? It's been a journey. I'm proud of it. Paula's proud of it.
I am so proud of it.
I love this girl. I couldn't have done it without her. And I know I try to say that on stage, but you get all rumbly up there.
Of course, yeah.
But I could not have done it without her. And in fact, even last year, I almost couldn't do it without her. And I got sick, and then, unfortunately, we just didn't have the manpower. So Paula came back, and she, again, my savior. There wouldn't be a Web Fest without this girl.
That is awesome. Vancouver Web Fest 2018. Even though you are going to be down one person, the amazing Paula.
Can I say something to you?
Sure.
You're an awesome dude.
Oh, I thank you.
You have been amazing on social media. You're amazing. You're the nicest guy I ever met. The fact that you come up here to do this, is thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzette and Paula,
My
for
pleasure.
sitting down, and I will absolutely be back next year, wherever it is.
Oh, yeah. We'll
And
find
then the
a place.
website again.
VancouverWebFest.com.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, bye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.